All right. There's been a lot of videos on YouTube, you know, about the artist and the there's one interesting video with John Todd. He's talking about how they, take the masters to the upper room, and black magicians or whatever put a spell on it, and then so each copy that comes out, and it comes through the airwaves and it possesses people. And some people would say, oh, it's just music, it has nothing to do with anything. And others say, no, you can be possessed through the music. Well, I'm going to cite two different sources. I'm going to read from the Bible, and I'm going to read from a book that I recommend everyone reading besides the Bible, but it's also another book. It's really interesting. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, Secret Teachings of All Ages, Manly P. Hall. I'm going to read from there. And why I am based on these things, and just based on how I felt listening to different music, why I believe that's so. So, first I'm going to read from Secret Teachings of All Ages. All right, Manly P. Hall. All right, this is in the chapter talking about the Pythagorean theory of music and color. And it says, in one paragraph, said Pythagoras cured many ailments of the spirit, soul, and body by having certain specially prepared musical compositions played in the presence of the sufferer, or by personally reciting short selections from such early poets as Hesiod and Homer. In his university at Crotona, it was customary for the Pythagoreans to open and to close each day with songs, those in the morning calculated to clear the mind from sleep and inspire it to the activities of the coming day, and those in the evening of a mode of soothing, relaxing, and conducive to rest. Okay, this has a lot to do with a lot of the music they have on here. About meditation and nice sounds of waterfalls and streams and all those different things. It's relaxing. People use music to get them in all types of moods. Okay. He said the therapeutic music of Pythagoras is described by Iamblichus thus, and there are certain melodies devised as remedies against the passions of the soul, and also against despondency and lamentations, and which Pythagoras invented as things that afford the greatest assistance in these maladies. And again, he employed other melodies against rage and anger, and against every aberration of the soul. Okay. Now, that's Pythagoras. One of the most learned men of history, highly initiated individual. And now I'm going to read from 1 Samuel chapter 16. All right. And this is when Jesse was first being chosen. Whatnot. Jesse. And he said, I refused them not, for the Lord seeth not as a man seeth. But I'll go over here to verse 13 here. In 1 Samuel chapter 16, it said, Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold, now an evil spirit from God troubleth thee. Now let our Lord now command thy servants which are before thee to seek out a man who is a cunning player on a harp, and it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto his servants, Provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. And then I'll go down to verse 23 of chapter 16, 1 Samuel, and it says, And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took a harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. Okay. Yeah, I said that wrong. Jesse wasn't being chosen. It was David that was being chosen. I'm sorry. But even here, okay, it's saying right here in Old Testament, even music was taking this evil spirit off of Saul by the playing of a harp. And then I read the same thing about Pythagoras, what he did with music in Secret Teachings of All Ages. Okay. And then I'll read a quote from Emil Naumann when he was talking about Plato, and this is in Secret Teachings. Said Plato depreciated the notion that music was intended solely to create cheerful and agreeable emotions, maintaining rather that it should inoculate a love of all that is noble and hatred of all that is mean, and that nothing could more strongly influence man's most innermost feelings than melody and rhythm. Firmly convinced of this, he agreed with Damon of Athens Athens, the musical instructor of Socrates, that the introduction of a new and presumably innovating scale would endanger the future of a whole nation, and that it was not possible to alter a key without shaking the very foundations of the state. Plato affirmed that music, which ennobled the mind, was of a far higher kind than that which merely appealed to the senses, and he strongly insisted that it was the paramount duty of the legislatures to suppress all music of an effeminate and lascivious character, and to encourage only that which was pure and dignified, that bold and stirring melodies were for men, gentle and soothing ones for women. Wow. Popular taste being always tickled by sensuous and meretricious effects was to be treated with deserved contempt. Even today, martial music is used with telling effect in times of war, and religious music, while no longer developed in accordance with the ancient theory, still profoundly influences the emotions of the laity. You know, this ain't even coming from a Bible. These are from, you know, some great philosophers. That the introduction of a new, presumably innovating scale will endanger the future of a whole nation, that it was not possible to alter a key without shaking the very foundations of the state, that they even wanted the legislature to suppress all music of an effeminate and lascivious character, and to encourage only that which was pure and dignified. Okay? And, you know, I'm a fan of hip-hop like anybody else. Alright? But also listen to different, I listen to, you know, the 60s music. I like to listen to a little classical music just to mix things up, you know, because anything in excess can alter the way you feel, the way you see life. Music does affect you, and it can cause that possession, as they say, you know. I mean, how many people have you seen, you know, after a little weed and a little liquor, throwing some Tupac records, and next thing you know, somebody want to get into a fight talking about thug life or something, you know what I'm saying? Or when hip-hop first came on the scene, alright, so many people just were disgusted by it, it just turned so many people off. Now, hip-hop has evolved, and there's all types of rap, so this is no way a video of, you know, I'm a fan of hip-hop before any other style of music. However, I do listen to other kinds of music. Classical music is very relaxing, and I love it. It takes my mind in a different place. You know, rock music, heavy metal takes your mind in a different place. When somebody's getting ready for a fight or something, or, you know, when guys overseas getting ready to go into, you know, do an operation overseas in Afghanistan or something, they probably listen to some heavy metal, some hate rock, whatever, to get you in a certain mood. When somebody ready to get in the bedroom, you know, with a lady, or, you know, lady want to turn a man on, they throw on a certain kind of music. However, now, you know, a lot of the music is just, it's no balance almost. It's most of the stuff that gets fed to people's ears is loaded down with, as they say here, suppress all music of an effeminate and lascivious character, and only encourage that which was pure and dignified. Well, now everything is just about, you know, sex, liquor, drugs, whatever, you know, and it gets people in that mood. As they say about, you know, certain Al Green songs, though. Well, a lot of babies was made when that song came out, you know. So, I mean, music does have an influence, and while it's okay if you're in the right mind state and you can listen to things and just listen for the lyrics or for the music of it all and whatnot, but once it starts getting to a point where it's affecting the way you feel, and you listen to something where you was in a good mood and you throwing something and now you all frowned up ready to fight, probably not a good idea to be listening to that style of music at that moment, you know. All things in moderation, you know. So yes, I listen to a large selection of music, you know. I even started incorporating some country in there, you know. But to just listen to one type of music all the time, it can definitely affect the way you are personally. You know, if a person is not conscious of how they're listening to it, and I said how they're listening to it, and also if you see the way it's influenced people in society, okay, and a lot of what would an artist say? my music is a reflection of real life. You know, I speak of, they may be talking about their personal experiences, how they live, but the videos portray that in a way, you know, with the models and all these different things, and it gets a person into a certain mind state, a certain spirit, a certain mood. Okay, they become overtaken. Same thing happened in the churches, you know. They spend about the first hour beating drums and organs and singing and yelling and all that, and you see people all over the place jumping around, and sometimes I worry, like, is that really a Holy Ghost? That a person has to be at risk of probably falling down and busting their head or something, you know, because when you've seen people being portrayed as being possessed by demons, they thrash around the same way. And so I'm wondering what kind of spirit are these people conjuring up in these churches also with the music that they're playing. All right. And so that was, you know, this is from this here, you know, they even suggested then how music can affect the entire society. And so it's important that people monitor how they feel. I would never say what not to listen to or what to listen to, but monitor the way, the mind state you're in when you're listening to a certain kind of music and how you're feeling when you're listening to a certain kind of music. Because even some great minds back then even suggested that it can affect an entire society just changing one note. Okay? Now you can imagine how people felt when rap came on the scene. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, gangster rap or whatnot. And then even here in Old Testament, 1 Samuel chapter 16, a harp was used to take away a troubling spirit. You know? So music can serve both sides. Okay? It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, and it does affect you. And it can affect you. It may not always affect you. Again, depends on how you monitor, how you consciously feel when you're listening to a certain music, or why you're listening to a certain music, and how you're listening to that music. You know, so yes, the possession can happen, and you know, depending on how you're feeling, it might behoove you to listen to music opposite of how you're feeling. If I'm just feeling really angry, you know, I'm probably not going to listen to some hardcore hip-hop or something. I'm probably going to throw on, you know, some of that soothing meditation music, you know, probably a Native American CD or some wolves howling or something, you know, whatever. Just anything to take me away from that, and then I feel a whole lot better, you know. So there is a such thing as music for the soul, as a cure for the soul, and all those different things. And that's just my take on that.